What's up, y'all? I'm Bella D. Welcome back to Books for Crookz. We got a very, very special guest with us today. We got Mr. Lil
Hey!
from SD.
Yeah!
We're gonna be discussing the 4 agreements today. You know, this book is universally loved by homies and non-homies, and I want to know what you love about this book.
Well, I love the simplicity and the magnitude of that simplicity. Because, you know, I think when people ask me, like, what's the secret? Like, ultimately, it isn't a secret. It's what he says. Follow the agreements, and the journey and the growth and the evolution will follow you. You know, some people say, oh, that's a hard one. Like, not to take anything personal. If you really navigate through making no assumptions, through always doing your best, through being impeccable with your word and not taking anything personal, you really symmetrically like build your path, and you learn not to take things personal when people say things about you or whatever their narrative is about you. You keep going. If you dip into assumptions, then you understand that those are the termites of humanity, and they'll eat away at reality because you have a false perception and a distorted view. If impeccable with your word, I can't help myself if I'm being disrespectful to you with words and I'm hurting you, I'm actually hurting myself even more. And then always doing your best. Well, you know, at the end of the day, if you do your best, what else can you do?
You can't judge yourself.
Can't judge yourself. You have to come into the art of surrender and acceptance to be able to flow.
Beautiful. It's almost like you read it before. No, but definitely, you know, after when I read it the first time, this was about 3 years ago, and I still have those teachings with me. I can't tell you what it says page for page.
Right.
But I do sometimes sit back and be like, all right, how can I go about this conflict that I'm facing? And I can think like, you know what? It's their turmoil, and it has nothing to do with me. They're coming on me crazy, and I know I'm straight. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, but you know, being able to really operate in the power of that becomes very difficult because they are taking it personal. And it's easier to take it personal because of the robotic programming that we had growing up. You know, ego, pride, defense mechanisms. And you know, the only thing that I've learned by operating in that state is it's a self-destruction mode. You end up hurting yourself even more by engaging in things that are not healthy for your life. You know, like even when people talk about like a relationship, it's not even the relationship that people mourn. It's the story attached to the emotion that people mourn, the idea of what it could have been. You know, because if you really think about it and you let something go and really let it go like you really didn't know them, if you really think about it, you really didn't know them. Because if you did, then you'd be symbiotically connected still.
Yeah.
You know, so in a sense, it's just the story attached. You know, but, you know, the book can definitely, and you can look at reviews on Google, it has not only touched, like you said, the average person, but it's also touched like a lot of leaders in the world, from presidents to vice presidents to senators to football quarterbacks to boxers to, you know, and I think it's because of the way that it was written, the foundation of where it was written was pure. What would you say this book, what part of this book really helped you evolve effortlessly?
Probably for sure that to not take things personal,
Yeah.
and to do my best.
Right.
I do stand on those, and especially doing my best because I really try. If I am committed to something, I go all in.
Right.
And I know, and like how it says in there, something about I'm out of it today.
No, that's okay.
I'm
That's
out of
okay.
it, and it's.
I think that in itself right now is like, we have to remember the importance of what ODM, shout out to ODM, was talking about. about not feeling robotic in a memory and in a teaching where you feel you have to say it correctly.
Yeah.
Say how you feel it. You know, I don't remember it page by page either, but I remember the substance of it. I remember the thread of it. You know what I mean? And it helps me be better. I mean, especially now in this age where the whole entire world is led by gossip and, you know, nonsense. But I think that if you can hear your own voice clearly, you're able to execute your vision clearly. You know, and I think that when your thought process and your heart all comes from a pure place, you're able to project that on the people that you love. You're able to project that on your projects, on your partner, or even if you're single. You know, I've learned the best relationship I've ever had in my life was with myself. Because I'm nurturing myself. And everybody in the world has holes. Everybody has broken particles. And when we operate from the broken parts of us, we can't fully give ourselves to anybody else because that person has broken particles too. And then you identify with each other through your brokenness. So normalcy is far away, you know, and I've learned that. I've learned that in relationships. I've learned that in business. I've learned that in my own journey. I've learned that what you give the world will give back to you.
Yes.
You know, if you're a destructive person and you carry yourself in a destructive manner, you will find yourself in a destructive situation. If you grow and you nurture yourself and you take care of yourself and you disengage and you eradicate things that are going to be parasitical to you, you usually end up in a safe place emotionally, morally, physically, mentally, and spiritually.
Yeah. And you said it, and it brought me back to what my thought was.
Okay.
And it was just that the person that's going to treat you the worst in your life is
You.
And you gotta, you know, you gotta take care of that. You can't let that take care of you.
No doubt.
And that's why I'm always trying to do my best. Because, like you said, what you put out is what you're gonna get back.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm really thankful for the opportunity that ODM's given me. And I feel like this place that I'm in right here is, I'm just gonna grow. You know, I'm coming out of, you know, insecurities of being on the camera and speaking, like, things like that. But I'm just happy to grow. And, you know, I get these kind of agreements, these principles to learn from in my own growth.
Yeah, and see, like ODM also being a pioneer and a legend is doing what we are meant to do. He's passing on a space for someone to grow and to evolve and get the opportunities that we didn't have. You know, and that's what we're supposed to do. You know, and I think honestly and respectfully and with love, don't get caught up in like the cameras. Like that's an idealistic, you know, thought that you have from the outside.
Yeah.
If you can just flow with being you, then you really can just flow being you. You know, the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing.
Yep. All right,
You know,
I heard
but,
that.
You know, but you know, I would like to always encourage you to continue to go in your path, and you can see that, you know, you're in your growth and that you're evolving and that, you know, you're dipping into a space of evolution. And the best thing that I've learned about evolution, besides being able to talk about it, is earning it, and you're definitely earning it.
Thank you. I appreciate
No
that.
doubt.
Well, you know, kind of how the book is written, it's kind of like, if how I perceive it to be, it's like it's his thoughts. And whatever he's thinking, he's writing. How he's trying to describe it. I read it like if someone was talking to me.
Right.
And in the second agreement about don't take it personally, he says that I don't know how many times in the chapter. And I jokingly told, that freaking, let's take a shot every time he says don't take it personal.
Oh.
so that's what we were talking about right there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I look at it like this. Anything that you feel, you have to take a step back while you're feeling it and process it. And I know that it sounds like a deep process, but it really isn't, because in the end, your spirit will always tell you what's good for you and what's not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like me, I've been sober for a long time.
Okay.
But when I wasn't sober, I would look for any excuse to go drink. I'd be like, well, today's Wednesday, I'll stop Monday. You know what I'm saying? I'll just stop on Monday. So I have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And by the time that Monday came, I'd be so hungover that I couldn't stop. So I'd be like, one more week. And then a week would turn into whatever. But, you know, I think the foundation of what you're saying is, maybe, you know, when he was saying it so many times, I think he's really trying to deliver the message. Yeah. Like, hey, don't worry about that. Keep on going.
When you look at it like that, it's like, yeah, you know, he's trying to instill it.
Yeah.
When you look at it a different way, I'm like, dang, you know, I could take like 10 shots right now, but I'm kidding. I'm playing.
No doubt. No doubt. There's another book. I mean, a lot of his books are great, but like The Mastery of Love.
I love that one too.
It's a really good book. The new one that his son came up with too is really good. I mean, his whole all the sons in him. You know, it's funny because about 2 years ago, he did his last retreat in Sedona. And I was gonna go, and something came up, and I didn't end up making it. So it's today, before I even knew about all this, I messaged Don Jose Ruiz, and I asked him if there was any seminars or any weekend, you know, retreats that they were gonna have, because they're so good for your spirit. They're so good for your spirit. No phones, no shoes. You know, you're in touch with the earth. You get to sit down and you get to just liberate. Another thing, I don't know that if you've ever done, but I would encourage you to do, is breath work.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I went to like a breath work class for like 45 minutes, and then you do a cold plunge.
Ooh,
you get in 41 degree water for 3 minutes, and then you get out for 1 minute, and then you dip back in for 3 minutes, and it's freezing. But that's another a very transformational moment. Not transactional, it's transformational, because just when you think you can't, you realize you can.
Wow, okay. That's cool. I had never I've heard of breath work classes, but with
the
water,
cold plunge.
With the cold plunge,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
it's fantastic, it's beautiful, it's super liberating. I'm gonna take ODM.
You're as cold as ice.
In my absolute deepest despair is when I finally opened the book. My life was completely upside down. I had lost everything that I thought was meant for me. And I went and I got the book, and I read it in back of Querubina's, Rosa's little spot. And I cried and I laughed. And by the time that I can literally honestly tell you that from the time that I opened it to the time that I closed it, I was transformed. I felt like a door opened for me to be welcomed into another dimension of living. You know, I always make this crazy analogy, like outer space is outer space. The rocket is right there, but what gets you to the rocket is your growth. Like the more you grow, the closer you get to the rocket. If you stop growing, you can't get in the rocket. So when you're like fully in motion of your growth and evolving, and no matter what anybody says, no matter what people say, no matter what they think, no matter the chatter, it doesn't matter. If you stay in the zone, that ricochets off you. And the best way that I can put it to you is like this, because so many people get consumed in the gossip. Do you know TMZ? And it's all about gossip, right? Do you remember what was on TMZ last week?
No.
Neither do I. So the gossip eventually dies, and you can keep on going. You know, but people get microscopically, the gossip, that they lose sight of themselves. Anyway, Don Jose Ruiz told me that there was going to be a book fair in Los Angeles. And he's like, my dad's going to be there if you want to come by. So I went, and when he was done talking, like, it was like this, and I like embraced him, and you know, he said, come on. And he took me to the back, and he sat with me, and he talked with me for, 20, 30 minutes. And he met my daughter Angelina, And he's such a beautiful man. He's such a beautiful soul and such a great teacher. You know, so I'm very grateful that I got the opportunity to sit down with him and be able to tell him my story, you know. And I think it's beautiful. And I also think that it's beautiful what you're doing and putting yourself in front of, you know, the audience and the world, and, you know, sharing books and sharing ideas, and, you know, giving people hope and giving young people the opportunity to become better. And by you sitting here and being the face and the voice of it is beautiful. And continue to do that, and don't stop doing that, because I promise you, because of this, you're going to inspire someone else to do the same. And that is how we all evolve. Like ODM letting you come in here doing this, bam, here you are. And it works in the world. You know, one thing is that we got to stop telling people, and we got to start showing people.
Yeah.
You know, so salute to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, this platform for Books for Crooks, I just want to inspire somebody who doesn't read to try reading.
1,000,000%.
And how that can really change your life.
And it can.
And what would you say to somebody who, like Rosa, I love her. I love her because when she hit me up, she was like, hey, I don't normally read, but I want to join your book club. It's like, hey, that's what it's for.
Yeah.
And she did her thing. And I'm proud of her. I'm proud of her growth. What would you say to somebody like that?
Well,
Who's just
I'm proof, because I didn't read.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have more books than I know what to do with now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but as Bella, like I have so many books, but that's what I do every day. Every day I have the same routine, no matter where I'm at. I wake up, I shower, I read for an hour, I go to the gym, I do my cardio, go to the sauna, I have my shake, and then I start my day. So I feel like I already fed my mind, my body, and my spirit. So I didn't read before I read the 4 Agreements. Once I read the 4 Agreements, I really understood that reading a book can absolutely change your life. So listen to what this young lady is telling you guys, and I would definitely encourage you to pick up a book and change the entire dynamic of your life, because it is real. She's proof, I'm proof, and there's millions of others out there that are proof. You be proof too.